Come on, bitch, let's go. Come on, get ready, bitches. You haven't seen nothing yet. Come on.
Valentino, Versace, Lamborghini, Bugatti. I got money to burn. I'm single and I'm naughty.
Come on.
Tiffany's, Cartier, Gucci on Armani.
Come on.
Break out your black card, boys. It's time to party.
Hi, you guys. I have to speak a little bit quieter than normal today because yesterday, would you believe, I lost my voice entirely, could not speak, and was trying to figure out how I was going to do today's show in a panic. Most of my girlfriends are in Los Angeles right now going to gifting suites at the Oscars. In fact, I heard that Giselle and Ashley Darby were at Wally's having wine and treats, and Heather Mariana had a bunch of talent at her gifting suite. She had Peggy, my girlfriend from Real Housewives of Orange County, who's now hosting in Florida, and Jacqueline Larita and a bunch of other girls there from different shows. I think Gretchen went from OC. So jealous, you guys, as I'm stuck at home sick. Guess how I'm celebrating my birthday? John is trying to become a math Olympian. So I'm celebrating my birthday instead of at Oscar gifting suites. I'm celebrating it at a math competition where I get to sit in my car and wait for him to, either win or lose this like math Olympiad. Crazy. I just suppose someday I'll have that glamour again in my life. I would love to experience a little of it. It's been a while. I'm sure there's a lot of moms that relate to me. I'm going to keep the show to an hour today. I can't release that much of today's show free because I have to kind of limit the use of my voice. I had a whole bunch of things I wanted to cover that I have to wait now till next week because I just don't have it vocally possible. And unlike Andy Cohen, who does whisper shows, I'm kind of like, I don't think that would fly for me. So I got really scared when I got this severe flu that I caught because there seems to be some very strange strains of the flu and pneumonia going around that may be a little more severe. I don't know. All I can tell you is every year I got the flu shot and I still got sick with the flu. So obviously it wasn't the right variant. And I've gotten sick in Europe with the flu, and this time I got the flu, I guess. Again, it's in my lungs now. So, but I just, no matter what I do, I just continue to get sick, and it feels like the strains are worse and worse. And when I found out that Kylie Jenner and Kim Kardashian and J-Lo's hairstylist, Jesus Guerreros, had died from like some strange pneumonia that he was fighting when he returned back from the UAE after doing Jennifer Lopez's hair and makeup because she was performing at the Saadiat Nights concert series and doing a launch event in Abu Dhabi. And so he was with her down there doing her hair because that was her main stylist. And then suddenly he started to get sick, and he had also done some hair for Kylie Jenner right before he went with J-Lo, but he seemed fine until he got to the UAE. And then I guess he started to have really bad symptoms, and they told him, don't work. J-Lo was like, it's okay. I can get someone else to do my hair. Just rest. And she had a team there with her, and they had him get medical care while he was in the UAE. And there were rumors that J-Lo left him behind with no one caring for him and just like left and took off to the US. But it turns out that isn't what ended up happening. It actually, J-Lo did give him time off, tried to support him medically, tried to get him home. It wasn't easy because he wasn't feeling well. Like, she did everything she could to get him back to the US. So the family was satisfied once they heard the story, that she really did go to bat for him. Initially, there were rumors going around that she didn't, but those were corrected. And in fact, the people that were posting that were friends of Jesus that were kind of like, why did J-Lo not do more? They were saying things like that publicly. They backtracked and said, I misunderstood. the information I had was incorrect. J-Lo did a lot for him and I was wrong. And I stepped back that statement. I was just angry and upset because I lost my friend, because Jesus was loved by many people because he's supposedly a very, very nice guy. Anyway, when the dust settled from all that hubbub, the thing that was left and what was disturbing to me is that when Jesus got home, his roommate noticed he wasn't doing well after that huge flight, which, by the way, is torture. It's like 24 hours going to UAE. I've been there before. I spent some time in Bahrain and Dubai, and it's a really brutal flight. And even if you're like first class, it is tough on the body. So he gets back and his roommate's like, you don't look good. You need to check yourself into a hospital, and convinces him to go. And what's really strange about Jesus' situation, which I think is really plaguing the family, is Jesus is in the hospital when he dies of pneumonia in the United States. So that's very unusual to be in a hospital and die of pneumonia, because they have everything necessary to stabilize you and to keep you alive, even with severe illness attacking your body. So what was it that was so intense in this strain that killed a young man? Because Jesus was only 34 years old. Jesus lived in LA, and the family had to bring his body back to Houston and do a proper funeral for him and everything. And the Kardashian family all rallied around Jesus's family and offered to pay whatever is needed to help them out in just getting Jesus home and everything like that, which was a really nice gesture. I guess J-Lo also called the family, but I don't know what she offered to the family. But whatever J-Lo said to them put them at ease, because originally they were kind of pissed at J-Lo and then they kind of changed their mind. So that's what happened. But the thing is that what the family is wondering, as I'm wondering, is what caused this young man to die in a hospital that's just pneumonia. It was just very strange. And people were like, what is it? The family really wants to know how this happened. Was it a special, really hardcore pneumonia? Was it in his system too long? And that's what happened? Like, how? Like right now we have Pope Francis. He's in his late 80s and he's double pneumonia in both lungs in a hospital in Rome, and he's in critical condition. And it wasn't until yesterday that they put him in a ventilator. He's still surviving, which is incredible given how sick he is and his age. And this young man didn't. So it's just something to take note. And I think after COVID, I'm a little bit sensitive to whenever something comes out that seems to be unusual with a high profile person, because it's like, oh my gosh, I hope we don't have another thing on our hands kind of thing. I'm not trying to scare everybody, but I do think about getting sick a lot different than I used to now. I don't know about you guys. So in order to be helpful, I did go to the CDC website and I tried to see if there was anything that might be predominant in the UAE that causes pneumonia. And what I found was there is. In December 4th of 2024, there was a warning listed that generally doesn't impact United States residents. However, if you're in the UAE, it could impact you. And what it is that Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, or MERS, it's a viral respiratory illness caused by coronavirus called Middle East Respiratory Syndrome coronavirus, MERS-CoV. The virus can spread from camels to people through direct physical contact. Limited human-to-human transmission is also possible. MERS has caused severe respiratory disease in most diagnosed cases, and many of those patients died. Typical symptoms include fever, cough, and shortness of breath. You can also have other symptoms of MERS that can emerge, like vomiting or diarrhea. And in addition to that, it does develop into pneumonia within only a few days. 4 out of 10 people that develop severe MERS die. And in the UAE, the leading cause of hospitalization is pneumonia. So I thought we would honor Jesus by just spreading awareness about this for people who are traveling to the UAE, because a lot of people do these days to go see the fancy Dubai and Abu Dhabi and all that. So just make sure you're careful. Maybe get a pneumonia shot or a flu shot before you head out, and maybe skip the camels. Okay. So this was kind of a fun one I wanted to throw in today's show. You know, the blind items that you guys have been talking about in the chat that a lot of people think are Bryn Whitfield related. Let me read them to you. Blind item. Talk is getting louder that one of the New York housewives is harboring a huge secret that contradicts everything she's ever told us. If this comes out, it will be the most explosive housewife scandal ever. And trust, she doesn't need any more bad publicity these days. And then another one came out. My hub just came home and started telling me the story about this woman. Turns out she's on the flop show, Real Housewives of New York. Besides her being broke and life is smoke and mirrors, she's hiding this colossal secret that even I morally can't share. Bookmark this tweet, biggest housewife secret ever, I swear. So I looked at everyone's guesses, and this is my favorites. Regarding Bryn Whitfield, it was that she lied about the sexual assault and it's going to come out, or that she truly slept with a producer, which was alleged on this last season, and that's how she got on the show. And actually, she's got zero to do with New York or anything around it, which actually is true. Because, you know, when I did my Bryn Whitfield deep dive before she was casted, I said that to you guys. I was like, she's not based in New York. She has no money. Like, there's no truth to her story in terms of being a New York cast member. So that one really sounds to me like it could be at the producer one. And then other people said maybe it's that she's just a literal full-time sugar baby. And like, so that's going on. By the way, Bryn Whitfield's been showing on her Instagram feed, like her doing interior design, trying to prove she has a job. Then there were different versions of the sugar baby one, like she's dating a politician, or an A-list married man, or she's a straight-up escort. Some people thought it was Aaron who was lying, and some people thought it was Sai. And it also could very well be Sai, because she has a lot of secrets. So, and Aaron definitely isn't as wealthy as she puts forward. So, lots of fun ones to contemplate. Wanted you guys thinking on this. We've talked about it in the chat, but I hadn't brought it up on the show, so I thought I'd bring it up now. Did you guys hear Joe Giudice talk about his time in prison? I was pretty shocked by it. I'm going to play you some clips that I put together that I think are really the best parts of what he said about his time in prison. And then I want to discuss it with you. And of course, I'm talking about Real Housewives of New Jersey, Joe Giudice, who has started a YouTube channel. I want to make sure I give him a shout out as I cover his content. This has been, I think, the best thing that he's posted so far. The other stuff that he did was pretty much stuff that had already been out there and around, but this was the first time I ever heard him talk about how he survived in prison. He started his stay in March of 2016 for mail wire and bankruptcy fraud that he pleaded guilty to in 2014. And he began his sentence at FCI Fort Dix in New Jersey. They only let him stay like 2 weeks in that facility while they evaluated him in different ways. And then they transferred him to FCI Allenwood, which was a low risk prison. And he ended up going there later. So he was kind of sad to actually change prisons because he was getting used to one when they yanked him away and brought him into another. Although it was like literally across the yard, but still in that world, it matters. Surprising to me was that the morning before he checks into prison, he has to be there at 12 or 1 p.m. Him, Teresa Giudice, and all of his family members start drinking at like 6 in the morning, get super hammered, and actually end up driving Joe Giudice to prison, drunk off his ass. And I mean, I hope he wasn't driving himself, right? You don't need to get a DUI on your way to prison. But anyway, they're driving everybody partying to the prison in New Jersey. And when he gets there, he's so hammered that they have to put him in like a tank to dry out for like 7 hours before they will let him join the rest of the inmates. But I thought, can you imagine having the balls to get wasted before you're going into prison? Now, I have some tea about Louis Ruelas, which I'm going to spill at the end of this episode about what he's up to. He's another one with balls. Teresa Giudice obviously likes men with big balls. Let's just call it what it is. For the full scoop, join the Dishing Drama Dana Patreon. The link is in this audio description. It's only $6 a month, and you'll get the best information and tea about the things you care about, and even the things you don't know you care about. What are you waiting for?